Hello everyone, my name is Courtney Lindner and I'm going to be sharing the cons of alternative medicine being integrated into mainstream healthcare. First of all, alternative medicine, some of the main things that come up as I was doing some research about why it wouldn't be best to integrate it into mainstream healthcare is that it can interfere with approved practices. And what I mean by that is that there's already a system in place in doctor's offices and psychiatric wards, whatever it may be, that's a little more mainstream, quote unquote, meaning what's already being done and what's accepted in a Western society. It could interfere with those practices in the system that's already established, which could delay patients' care and delay their overall health and improvement because it would be such a learning curve for the doctors to go through. Another thing is difficulty of standardizing results. Since a lot of alternative care has to do with essential oils and herbal remedies and flower essences, as well as chiropractic and acupuncture and a couple of other methodologies, it's really difficult to graphically and on a scientific level understand the exact results that you'll get every time, which is the definition of standardizing. And I think that's one of the biggest cons against a more mainstream or a wider approach to implementing alternative medicine, is that you can't always get the results that you're looking for every single time. It's not replicatable. And then the health benefits are controversial. As I was doing research, there are a lot of controversial articles about the pros of supplementation, the harmful benefits of supplementation. That includes probiotics and multivitamins. There's controversy about pregnant women taking prenatals. There's controversy about children taking supplementation. It really is just such a hot, controversial topic that I think there aren't any clear-cut results to go off of for the implementation of alternative medicine. Whereas in the medical establishment that currently exists, medications are thoroughly tested prior to release, and medical doctors are extensively trained in prescribing and monitoring effects of these medications. They understand what they will do inside the body, and before they are released, these results are standardized, and they're gotten, or the results come time after time with a variety of people with very low adverse effects that are serious or that can be conflicting with the implementation of alternative medicine. The FDA is the U.S.'s standard for Food and Drug Administration, so standard for what is generally known as safe for consumption. And as I did some research, I read an article, actually a paper, written by the U.S. National Library of Medicine, and it said it takes approximately 17 years for medical research to reach clinical practice. And so I think that's a really, really wide learning curve. It seems that it would be difficult with all the controversy that is happening around supplementation for that information to be translated fully into a medical establishment. If that ball were to get rolling per se, I think it would take a really long time, upwards of 20 years, for that entire process and system to be integrated. Whereas I think it would detract from a lot of research in areas of cancer and other up-and-coming research that is just with pharmaceuticals that the medical establishment is currently familiar with. That's already such a broad learning curve and needs funding that I think the implementation of alternative medicine would detract from that forward-moving track that we are currently on. Another point that was made often in the research I did is that many times the results of alternative medicine are subjective, meaning that they cannot be graphed or portrayed in a quote-unquote scientific manner. They're more so based on the person's individual experience with what has happened to them and the changes that they personally believe they have undergone as a result of the treatment. Whereas there are more objective results tied with Western medication and standard doctor care as it is now produced and offered in our medical system. The final impact that seemed worth mentioning that was rather broad as I started to look into it would be that as of now, the alternative medicine care is an independent unit of business aside from the medical establishment that generally is not involved with insurance and other such controversial matters and politicized matters. Western medicine has its own system with insurance companies and such, and implementing and integrating alternative medicine would take away a lot of business from the economy. These individual chiropractic offices and maybe herbal shops or supplement shops that exist now, a lot of those people would, as it took those maybe upwards of 17 to 20 years of implementation time to integrate the two, that could mean a huge loss of jobs and even a loss of access to these resources of alternative medicine and medical care for those who would like to participate in both. Implementing the two really would reduce the choices of those who are attending the medical establishment, because they can now go to receive traditional or Western care as well as implement these alternative practices if that is what interests them, without those additional costs and information being imposed upon them if it is not already in their awareness. And in my experience and in the research that I did, the majority of U.S. citizens are not familiar with alternative practices being incorporated into their health care, and separating the two fields allows for those who are interested to seek it out and benefit from both systems, whereas combining them diminishes the effectiveness and efficiency of each field's independent practice. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to learning with you in the future.